13 black celebrities who have identical lookalikes from centuries ago. Could your face be a secret legacy from someone who passed away centuries ago? Imagine the sheer shock of finding a photograph from 1868 that looks exactly like you, not just a passing resemblance, but a biological haunting that defies every known law of nature. Tonight, we are opening long-buried archival files to decode the staggering mystery of 13 black celebrities who possess identical doubles from a different era. From Tupac's 150-year-old twin to Queen Latifah's haunted velvet coat, we are exposing a century-spanning journey of souls who found a hidden path back to the living. Is it a coincidence or a glitch in time? Hold your breath as we begin this journey. Subscribe to Melanin Spotlight right now and comment below. Do you believe these legends have lived before? Tupac Shakur die age, 25 in 1996. Tupac Shakur, who tragically died at the age of 25 in 1996, remains the most powerful and defiant voice of resistance in modern music history. Born in 1971 into a family deeply rooted in the Black Panther spirit, he spent his short but explosive life becoming a global icon of rebellion and raw poetic truth. However, a startling discovery has led many to wonder if his legendary journey actually began more than a century before his birth. The mystery unfolded during a 2015 restoration of a historic site, where researchers unearthed a primitive metal photograph from 1868. The face staring back from the 150-year-old portrait left forensic experts in absolute awe. It was a perfect identical twin to Tupac Shakur. The man in the 1868 image possessed the same defiant square jawline and proud signature lips that defined the 1990s legend. Magnified under laser imaging, a black onyx ring engraved with a snarling panther was visible on his finger, the mark of the Night Panthers, a secret society sworn to protect their people against the oppression of that era. Historical records from a Savannah jail identified this mysterious double as Silas Thorne. On a stormy night in 1870, Thorne vanished from a locked, solitary cell without a trace, leaving behind only questions. Exactly 103 years after that unexplained disappearance, Tupac was born inheriting not just the physical features of the man from the photograph, but the same uncompromising spirit of defiance. Forensic experts initially suspected a digital hoax, but physical verification of the metal plate confirmed its authenticity from 1868, a time long before digital manipulation existed. This connection creates a chilling cycle of destiny that defies every law of nature. It forces us to ask, was Tupac Shakur truly a man of the 1990s? Or was he the delayed continuation of Silas Thorne's journey, finally reaching his destination a century late? In the grand mystery of time, it seems some souls are too powerful to stay buried in the past. Queen Latifah, 56, age now. Queen Latifah, who is currently 56 years old, stands as an uncrowned sovereign in an entertainment world often dominated by rigid molds. She single-handedly dismantled stereotypes of beauty and submission for black women, but her regal aura appears to be a legacy handed down from a brilliant soul nearly a century ago. History draws a startling parallel to Harlem in 1935, where Beatrice Bessie Vance, known as the Scholar of the Blues, commanded respect among the intelligentsia. Beatrice possessed a face that was a perfect mirror of the Queen Latifah we know today, from the wise, knowing eyes to a dignified presence that could command any room. The mystery deepened in 1988, when the construction workers in the Sugar Hill district discovered an amber leather trunk hidden behind a false wall, containing a black velvet coat embroidered with intricate gold tribal patterns, the exact garment Beatrice wore in her final photograph. In a coincidence that defies logic, that very coat found its way into a vintage shop and caught the eye of Latifah's stylist. When Latifah stepped onto an award show stage in 1989, wearing that same coat, those familiar with Harlem's history were stunned. It is said that the first time she wore it, she wrote her classic anthem, "Ladies First," in just 10 minutes, mirroring the unfinished lines of Beatrice's 1940 manuscript with haunting precision. This leaves us to wonder if the coat acted as a physical bridge, allowing Beatrice to fulfill her oath of queens through Latifah. Ice Cube 56. Age now. Ice Cube, now 56 years old, has forged a legendary career on a foundation of unyielding defiance and raw, crystalline lyrical power that resonates across the globe. While the world identifies him as a founding father of gangsta rap and a cinematic force, the long arc of history suggests that his famous anger is more than just a performance. It is a legacy preserved within a bloodline of resistance. Our journey into the past leads us to Savannah, Georgia in the year 1880, a time when the suffocating weight of Jim Crow laws defined every aspect of life for Black Americans. In this era lived Elias Thorne, a specter in the criminal records, whose voice was described by those who heard it as being like rolling thunder. To the oppressive government of that time, Elias was considered a highly dangerous rebel, with files marked by serious charges of inciting riots and spreading anti-government sentiment. His true crime, however, was his refusal to submit. He secretly organized self-defense classes to empower his community. An early mugshot captured in 1880 reveals Elias's face just before he was led away to a cell displaying a signature defiant scowl and an uncompromising stare that reportedly unsettled the prison guards. From the rock-solid, hardened jawline to the piercing, unshakable gaze, it feels as though the same man is looking back at us from across 2 different centuries. The similarity goes far deeper than a mere physical coincidence. It is rooted in the very soul of rebellion that refuses to be weathered by time. In 1880, Elias Thorne was convicted for writing a provocative pamphlet titled "Defying Unjust Laws." Exactly 100 years after that conviction, Ice Cube penned the world-shaking anthem, "Fuck the Police." Channeling that same thunderous spirit, this staggering parallel raises haunting questions about a specific DNA of resistance that is passed down entirely intact. Was Ice Cube truly an individual of his own era? Or was he the delayed continuation of Elias Thorne's journey, finally reaching a global stage a century later to finish the fight for justice? Eddie Murphy, 65, age now. Eddie Murphy, currently 65 years old, remains a titanic force of comedic genius whose signature radiant smile and electric personality have defined the world of entertainment for over 4 decades. To his millions of adoring fans, he is a one-of-a-kind original, yet deep in the heart of the French Quarter of New Orleans. The elders tell a story that challenges the boundaries of time. They speak of a man named Jack Leroy, the jester of 1920, who possessed the rare ability to change his voice like the shifting wind and wore a smile that could light up the darkest, most hidden speakeasies. Jack Leroy's story had largely vanished from the history books until a stray, weathered playbill from the Lyric Theater was unexpectedly discovered in the dust of an ancient French library. On that yellowed parchment, Leroy's face stares back with startling clarity, revealing a wide, luminous grin so powerful that audiences once swore he could literally swallow their sorrows whole. When a young Eddie Murphy first burst onto the screen in the 1980s, the resemblance was so absolute that it bordered on the impossible. This eerie connection, however, transcends mere physical traits and enters the realm of the spiritual. As Murphy ascended to global stardom, Elderly residents in New Orleans who had seen Jack Leroy perform in their youth were struck by a sense of profound disbelief. They claimed that every mischievous wink, every staccato burst of infectious laughter, and even the subtle, confident tilt of the head were carbon copies of the 1920 jester. A haunting question of spiritual rebirth begins to take shape behind the scenes of history. Is genius truly born anew in each generation? Or is it a magnificent theatrical mask that a soul puts on for a second encore? Perhaps Eddie Murphy's iconic presence isn't entirely his own. It may be the very same mask Jack Leroy left behind on the stage of time, waiting 60 years for a worthy successor to wear it once again. In the grand theater of human existence, it seems the curtain never truly stays down, and some smiles are destined to echo across the centuries. Denzel Washington, 71 age now. Denzel Washington, now 71 years old, is a cinematic icon known for his deep internal power, integrity, and calm authority. While time is typically a tyrant that shows no mercy, Washington appears to be an exception, maintaining a commanding presence that has seemingly frozen the aging process. A startling discovery behind a dusty mirror in a Virginia antique shop revealed a small oil portrait of a man named Darius Vane from 1750. Vane was a stoic shipwright living under the iron discipline of the colonial era. Famous for his skilled hands, and a trait that baffled his neighbors, he reportedly did not age a single day during 40 years of grueling labor. Separated by nearly 275 years, the faces of Washington and Vane are identical in every line and piercing gaze, as if time itself lost its power over them. Collectors were left in a state of shock when comparing the 1750 portrait to the modern actor. In the mid-18th century, neighbors whispered about a secret Vane held that kept his youthful dignity intact while the world grew old around him. Today, similar questions are asked about Washington's enduring appearance. This mysterious connection suggests that there may be those who never truly age, but simply discard their names to continue a long, dignified journey across the centuries. Lawrence Fishburne, 64, age now. Lawrence Fishburne, currently 64 years old, is renowned across the globe as a man of profound composure, possessing a natural-born leader's aura that radiates from him like a shield. There is a rare sense of absolute security whenever audiences look upon his face, seeing the essence of a protector who seems to have stepped right out of the most heroic and weathered pages of human history. Yet have we ever stopped to wonder if the presence of such a powerful leader is something earned through years of practice? Or is it an identity destined long before birth? The answer may lie hidden within the dust of time, where the past and the present have unexpectedly met in a way that truly defies belief. It all began with a tattered 1870 military manual, discovered deep in the National Archives. Within those fragile pages, researchers came across a portrait of Captain Marcus Freeman, a soldier who bravely kept the peace in Washington, D.C. in the year 1868. Upon looking at this ancient metal photograph, everyone present gasped in total astonishment. One researcher on the scene couldn't help but exclaim in disbelief, "My lord, this is the face of Lawrence Fishburne." Every detail, from the squared, rock-solid jawline to the deep, commanding eyes, was an identical match of impossible proportions. Those who witnessed the moment recall that Lawrence gazed at the image for a long time, without saying a single word, simply reaching out to gently touch the eyes of the man in the portrait. He did not feel fear. Instead, he felt a strange, profound stirring of emotion, as if he saw himself in a different life from over a century ago. Experts compared the two faces and found a completely natural, perfect alignment, despite these two men sharing no blood relation whatsoever. Captain Freeman once used that same dignified presence to protect his community after the Civil War and today. Lawrence Fishburne uses that very same aura to inspire millions through the silver screen. This accidental convergence reminds us that no matter how much time passes, the faces of courage and compassion will always find a way to return. Will Smith, 57, age now. In the dazzling Hollywood spotlight, Will Smith has always shined in his own unique way. Largely thanks to his radiant smile, a weapon overflowing with hope and optimism that has captured millions of hearts worldwide. Now 57 years old, he remains a global icon of positive energy. Yet few realize that this very same smile appeared and changed the lives of many more than a century ago. Our journey leads us to Cincinnati in 1905, an era of bright aspirations and new beginnings. Among the grand estates of Ohio, a man named Bennett Wright emerged as a true symbol of Black excellence. As a successful real estate broker and transport pioneer, Bennett built a reputation for closing million-dollar deals using that same unstoppable weapon, a golden smile. This long-buried connection became a sensation when facial recognition software linked a vintage family portrait of Bennett to none other than Will Smith. In the 1905 photograph, Bennett stands beside a state-of-the-art carriage, possessing those familiar ears and eyes overflowing with the same optimism that would one day define a global superstar. When the photograph of Bennett Wright was first placed in front of Will Smith, the room did not grow cold with fear or unease. Instead, the actor erupted into a laugh of pure, infectious astonishment. His eyes lit up with a vibrant curiosity as he held the vintage print, turning it over in the light and shaking his head in disbelief at the extraordinary coincidence. "This is unbelievable. It's like looking at a version of myself from another lifetime, a mirror that cuts through a century. And this man is winking back at me, telling me to keep that same positive energy alive for the world today," Will remarked with genuine delight as he pointed at the image. This staggering coincidence forces us to wonder if our most recognizable traits are truly ours, or if they are echoes of a soul that walked the earth long before we were born. Tracy Morgan, 57, age now. Tracy Morgan, currently 57 years old, is a comedic force whose indomitable strength and mission to heal the world through laughter were profoundly reshaped. Following a devastating near-fatal accident in 2014. While many see his recovery as a modern miracle, his unique gift for storytelling might actually be a precious legacy passed down from a startlingly identical figure who lived nearly 2 centuries ago. In the heart of Pennsylvania, historians recently uncovered a silver-plated portrait of a man named Thomas Jenkins, captured in 1850. Jenkins was no ordinary citizen. He was a legendary traveling storyteller who used his sharp wit to warm the exhausted souls of those traveling along the Underground Railroad. Known by the affectionate nickname Ticklish, Jenkins carried his tales to those seeking freedom, proving that humor could be a powerful tool for survival. When the photograph of Thomas Jenkins is placed beside Tracy Morgan today, the physical resemblance is absolutely staggering, leaving researchers in a state of shock. From the wide, deeply expressive eyes that sparkle with mischief to the radiant, infectious smile, the two men appear to be identical twins, separated by 170 years of history. This uncanny alignment invites us to wonder if each of us carries a fragmented piece of the past within our own DNA. As Tracy Morgan stands under the spotlight today, delivering his unique brand of chaotic and heartfelt comedy, it is possible that Ticklish Thomas is borrowing those same eyes and that same voice to finally finish the song of joy he began in the 1850s. Their shared identity suggests that laughter is a timeless frequency, a gift that refuses to be silenced by the passage of time or the cruelty of fate. Perhaps Tracy's survival in 2014 wasn't just luck, but a cosmic necessity to ensure that the spirit of Thomas Jenkins could continue its mission to heal a weary world in the grand theater of human existence. The curtain never truly stays down for a soul that knows how to make the world smile. This extraordinary connection reminds us that no matter how much time passes, true talent always finds a way to return. John Legend, 47, age now. John Legend, now 47 years old, is celebrated globally as a pillar of grace and a sophisticated Ivy League soul whose music has mended the hearts of a divided world. Yet far beneath the thunderous applause and the glittering awards, a mysterious riddle suggests that his life might be a silent cosmic endeavor to redeem a troubled spirit from a century ago. In the deep, humid shadows of 1892, Louisiana, a rogue buffalo soldier named Silas Sterling etched a final cryptic melody into the cold stone wall of a prison cell before vanishing into the mists of history. This forgotten score, known as the Blood Moon Serenade, remained a silent and dusty relic until modern musicologists made a shocking discovery that defied all logic. The complex notes of Sterling's century-old serenade were found to be an identical note-for-note match to Legend's modern masterpiece, All of Me. However, the intention behind the music was drastically different, where John Legend sings of total, selfless devotion. Silas Sterling reportedly used those same rhythms as a secret signal for movement in the dead of night. This impossible connection forces us to wonder if Legend is a silent vessel for a century-old secret, or if Sterling simply found the perfect new identity to carry his song across the threshold of time. To the public, Legend represents peace and artistic perfection, but the haunting echoes of Silas Sterling suggest a deeper, more turbulent narrative of spiritual rebirth. Was Legend's career a divine plan to transform a song of desperation and betrayal into a worldwide anthem of love? The staggering alignment between the two men, separated by over 100 years, invites a chilling question about the very nature of creative inspiration. Whether it is a mere coincidence or a pre-written cycle of destiny, the melody remains a powerful bridge between two eras. It suggests that a truly great song never belongs to just one man, but travels through time, waiting for the right heart to finally set it free. This recurring theme shows that genius might be eternal, finding new voices to echo across the ages, ensuring that some stories are never truly lost to history. Danny Glover, 79. Age now. Danny Glover, now 79 years old, is a towering pillar of humanity and one of the most beloved humanitarians of our time. Known for his deep-set, soulful eyes and a heavy, world-weary brow, he has used his global platform to fight for the underdog and heal communities. However, a heart-stopping discovery in a New Orleans archive suggests that his legendary humanitarian work might actually be a cosmic mission of redemption for a dark life lived over a century ago. A historian scanning 1870 tintypes froze when they encountered the unmistakable double of Glover's Sergeant Lucas Miller. The resemblance is haunting, with every anatomical marker, from the prominent square jawline to the specific arch of the cheekbones, appearing to have been traced directly onto Glover's features 117 years later. But while their faces are identical, their souls appeared to be polar opposites. Declassified municipal ledgers revealed that Lucas Miller was a shadow assassin known as the Mist Scythe, a cold-blooded enforcer who worked for private syndicates to silence black leaders fighting for their newly won freedoms during the Reconstruction era. The mystery takes a tragic turn with the discovery of Miller's suicide note in prison, which chillingly read, "I'm too old for this, shit," a phrase that would later become Glover's most iconic cinematic catchphrase. When Glover was shown the image of his historical double, he did not recoil in fear. Instead, he touched the frame with trembling hands and whispered that he had carried a sadness his whole life without knowing why. He stated that if this man was who he once was, he owed him a life of kindness. This leaves us to wonder if Glover's tireless activism is a personal choice or a spiritual debt being repaid across centuries. It suggests that history is not a straight line, but a mirror reflecting the same souls until they finally get it right. Tyler, the Creator, 35. Age now. Tyler, the Creator, now 35 years old, is a visionary artist of vibrant suits and eccentric hats who relentlessly defies industry rules to assert a unique, rebellious identity. While he is a modern icon of mad genius historians at the Society of Antiquaries of London recently discovered that this same colorful spirit burned brightly in the heart of another man nearly 2 centuries ago. Hidden inside a sealed oak chest was a rare 1850 daguerreotype of Barnaby Finch, and the resemblance to Tyler was described as a biological haunting. The investigation confirmed that Barnaby Finch was a freelance illustrator in 19th century New England who was shunned by critics for using colors deemed excessive by the rigid Victorian standards of his time. The anatomical match between Finch and Tyler is so precise it defies logic, showing an identical distance between the pupils, the same distinct structure of the palate, and a specific rebellious tilt of the head. Biometric scanning software even confirmed a match down to the millimeter, suggesting that the same restless spirit was looking into a lens 200 years apart. When Tyler was shown the portrait during an art history interview, he was left completely speechless before exclaiming in pure delight at how much Finch loved strange hats and bright colors, just like him. Since there is no shared bloodline between them, this connection appears to be a whimsical coincidence of creative DNA. It is as if the universe ensures that in every age, a guardian of vibrance is born to shatter the gray and paint the world in the colors of courage. Tyler's modern success may simply be the continuation of a journey Barnaby Finch started long ago, proving that a soul dedicated to imagination will always find its way back to the light to finish what it began. Ludacris, 48, age now. Ludacris, now 48 years old, is a global superstar who has always held the soul of Atlanta in the palm of his hand. In a breathtaking moment along the historic stones of Auburn Avenue, he reportedly came face to face with a past that left him utterly speechless. Locked within a display of newly unearthed relics was a tarnished, silver-plated photograph from 1890, and the face staring back was a mirror image of the icon himself. This was J.W. Morehouse, a man who once commanded the very same streets Ludacris walks today. For over a century, the name Morehouse had been swallowed by the fog of the Deep South until a demolition crew accidentally shattered a hidden basement wall on Auburn Avenue. Behind the old brickwork sat a small tin box preserving a forgotten empire, including secret ledgers and this single pristine portrait. In 1890, Morehouse hid in plain sight as a high-end barber. But behind the scent of bay rum and the sharp snip of scissors, he was the secret king of the speakeasies. He was a master of the hustle long before the modern world even had a name for the grind or the million-dollar deal. The resemblance between the modern rapper and this 19th century outlaw sent a cold shiver through those who witnessed the discovery. Every anatomical marker from the unyielding rock-solid ridge of the jawline to the sharp, calculated taper of the cheekbones aligned with haunting millimeter-perfect precision Beyond the physical, there was the unmistakable aura of a natural-born ruler. Both men shared the piercing steel gaze of a master strategist who dominates every room he enters. It appeared as if Morehouse hadn't simply vanished into history, but had waited 100 years to be reborn under the blinding lights of a global stage. This staggering coincidence forces us to question the nature of destiny and whether the men who truly own a city's soul ever really leave. Perhaps they simply wait in the shadows for the world to change, finally stepping back into the light to reclaim a throne they never truly gave up. Samuel L. Jackson, 77. Age now. Samuel L. Jackson, currently 77 years old, stands as a cinematic titan with a voice that sounds like rolling thunder. He possesses a unique way of speaking that compels the world to listen, especially when delivering the iconic lines that have defined his legendary career. While most fans assume those famous words from the 1994 film Pulp Fiction were written in a modern Hollywood office, a shocking discovery in a dusty New Orleans police file from 1888 reveals an impossible truth. Inside those archives was a charcoal drawing of a man named Obadiah King, a figure known by the locals as the Mad Prophet, because his Sunday sermons could make the very trees tremble with righteous power. When you look at King's face, you do not see a stranger. You see the exact fiery countenance of Samuel L. Jackson himself. From the deep, weathered lines etched across his forehead to the intense, unyielding look in his eyes, the resemblance is simply unbelievable. However, the real mystery lies in what Obadiah King was actually shouting to his congregation in the sweltering Louisiana nights over 130 years ago. Historians recently uncovered brittle yellowed notes of his final sermon, where he cried out the exact path of the righteous man speech. These specific words were scripted for a movie only 30 years ago and are not actually found in the traditional Bible. Yet a country preacher in 1888 was screaming them into the wind long before Hollywood existed. It makes one wonder if that famous speech was never written at all, but was instead a spirit waiting in the Louisiana heat for over a century for a man with the right voice to finally give it life again. Just as Obadiah King once held his followers spellbound, Jackson now inspires millions with that same thunderous, commanding authority. Perhaps history is not a straight line, but a mirror reflecting the same powerful souls over and over, until they finally get their message right. These staggering parallels leave us with a profound question that challenges the very nature of human destiny. Are we looking at people who merely happen to look alike, or a delayed journey of souls finally reaching their destination? A century late is genius truly born? Or is it a theatrical mask that a soul puts on for a second more magnificent encore? When an 1888 preacher cries out a Hollywood script 130 years before it was written, the mirror of history truly shatters. Is the universe trying to tell us that no story is ever truly finished? Tell us your most honest thoughts in the comments. Is this reincarnation or just a cosmic coincidence? Join the massive debate and subscribe to Melanin Spotlight to uncover more hidden corners of history.